I woke up to pouring rain and a 20-degree drop in temperature. My heart sank. There was going to be no riding today. I had been looking forward to a productive day in the saddle, and now my plans are completely derailed.
Welcome to the Resilient Reiner, the premier podcast focused on mental performance for equestrians and improved horse show performance. Whether you're a rookie reiner or a seasoned competitor, this show is for riders who want to take their skills to the next level and achieve their full potential in the show ring. I'm Nicole Burnett, and I'm a master mindset coach who's obsessed with helping you achieve all those horse dreams you always thought were impossible. Join me each week to develop a show-ready mindset and gain the competitive edge you need to compete with confidence.
Welcome back, friends. I'm your host, Nicole Burnett, and I'm so grateful to welcome you back to another episode of the Resilient Reiner podcast. I am so grateful you're here. Thank you for spending your time here with me to improve your mind today. If you love this podcast, make sure to give it 5 stars, leave a review with something that you've learned or appreciate about the podcast. It really helps me out so I can reach more people. Thank you. So today, what are we talking about? We are talking about 3 ways that I personally use visualization. And I know some of these are going to have you going, wait, I didn't know that you can use visualization like that. I didn't know you could use it for this. So if you didn't know, this episode, as I'm recording it, this week on Wednesday, October 23rd, I'm going live to deliver a live training, a masterclass all about mental rehearsal for riders, because this is an absolutely amazing, incredible technique. But how do we apply it for our unique niche, for us as riders, right? We're not basketball players. We're not hockey players. We're not NFL players. How do we use it as riders? So I've been preparing for this, putting together the content. I'm so excited. This is going to be so epic. If you are hearing this when this goes live on Tuesday, make sure you get signed up. If you hear it after, come back, because the replay is going to be available and you are going to get so much out of this. So I have been all about visualization and pulling together all the notes that I want to have to make sure that you are getting the most value out of this. You're going to learn my technique step by step for how to visualize your way so that when you win, when you have a fire run, it feels normal and good, and it feels like deja vu. It doesn't feel like some weird, scary thing. How you can use visualization to get used to the challenges and the show nerve so that it doesn't throw you for a loop. Different examples of folks I've worked with and how they've use this for success so that you can see again that it's possible. I'm so excited. So I've been all about visualization. And what did the universe give me but an opportunity to practice what I preach with mental rehearsal? If you want to get signed up, links in the show notes. You can also go to NicoleBurnettCoaching.com/mental rehearsal masterclass. Don't miss out. So back to what the universe provided me, which was, if you've ever had a day where you felt like just everything was throwing a wrench in your plans, well, today was one of those days for me. And let me tell you, it was so key when I was able to shift my mindset. I woke up, it was the day that the weather shifted in Utah to fall. So I woke up to pouring rain, a 20+ degree drop in temperature. And then I know it gets even more temperature drops, but it was a big temperature drop and my heart sank. I just knew I was not going to be getting out and riding today. And I had been so looking forward to getting out on that day, because if you're like me, maybe you don't get to ride every day. And so on a day that you plan to ride, it's kind of a big deal. and everything was totally derailed. So what did I do? So another peek into what I do as a mental coach. First thing I did was I gave myself a solid 5 minutes to throw a quality pity party. Okay, like 5 minutes to absolutely waller in the mud, to let myself pout about the situation, stomp around, shake my fist at the sky, go, "Arr!" All right, gotta feel it, feel the feelings. But then it was time to pivot. I could not let, and I would not let, a missed ride ruin my entire day. As a mental coach, I have learned to adjust quickly and find other ways to stay on track, even when things don't go as planned. I remember one time last year when I was preparing for a show and a similar weather surprise hit. And I'll admit, back then I didn't handle it quite as well. And I did end up stuck in frustration for hours, feeling like I had just wasted a perfect training day. And when that happens, the mental impact was far more lasting when you stay stuck in the frustration than the missed ride itself. I tell you this because I've lived it, I've done it, I've made the mistakes, I've seen it in my clients. But that mental impact from being stuck in frustration, it lasts so much longer than just missing a ride would. And that's partly why I've worked so hard to develop my own mental resilience, because I know the impact that it has. So what do I do after the pity party? Well, I meditated. I meditated for 20 minutes, and oh my gosh, did I need it? The mental peace and clarity really came through for me later that day too, when my kids were bickering and kind of going at it. And I can really tell the impact when I meditate, because thanks to that meditation session, I was really able to let all of it just roll off my back like water off of a duck. And to be honest, meditation was not always a go-to part of my strategy. I used to think that it was just about quieting my mind, but now I really see it as something so much deeper. It's all a part of awareness, acceptance, and just finding peace in the chaos. It really resets not only my emotions, but just my energy generally. And after those 20 minutes, I was centered, I was grounded, I was ready to take on the day, rain or no rain. But of course, meditation wasn't the only tool I pulled out of my mental performance toolkit that day. So next step was visualization, aka mental rehearsal. And one of the things that I like to do is when I'm rehearsing something, and so this was the perfect thing, the tool for me on this day, because I've been working on things with my horse and then I wasn't able to get in the saddle. So it helped me to make progress even when I wasn't able to have the saddle time. And one of the things I like to do is I like to feel like I can give myself a touch point for how long. So it can feel a little ungrounded if you're just visualizing and there's nothing. You're like, oh, how long do I do this for? It just feels very too nebulous. It's too ungrounded. So I like to find an audio track that I like. And so for me, it's usually just a calm instrumental. And so I threw on one that happened to be 8 minutes. And so I thought, all right, today we're going to do this mental rehearsal for 8 minutes, because that's the length of the track. That'll be perfect. And I've done all this stuff in under 30 minutes, right? Meditation and mental rehearsal. And so I threw on this 8-minute audio track and I went all in on my visualization. And when I say all in, what I mean is that my eyes are literally closed. I was literally lying in bed when I did this, and I imagined every single detail of my ride. And so for me, when I'm in the saddle, I have been getting a little bit busy with my hands and my legs in the saddle, wanting to fix everything, nitpick every movement, and try and prevent mistakes before they happen. I know it's coming from that recovering perfectionist, right? Wanting to kind of micromanage too much. And so for this mental rehearsal session, I visualized myself letting my body do less, trusting my horse, letting my legs hang, and my hands stay quiet. Just me and my horse moving in perfect harmony with nothing to fix. And it was during this session, during my mental rehearsal, I realized that I use visualization in 3 key ways. And I knew I had to come share it with you guys on the podcast. So I'm going to break them down for you because these have been game changers in my riding. So the first way I will use mental rehearsal is to practice something specific. Okay? Visualization is a great way to practice a specific skill or a scenario in your mind before you do it. So, like today, I visualized my horse loping perfect circles while I was focused on doing less. I imagined how it would feel to ride with light, gentle aids, trusting my horse to respond with minimal input from me. Now, the more that you can vividly imagine it, the more that your brain believes you've already done it, which helps you create neural pathways that you will need when you actually get in the saddle. So that's the first way. The second way I use mental rehearsal is to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Get comfortable with the uncomfortable. So one of my clients shared an amazing insight with me about how she uses visualization. She told me that before her first show of the season, she spent a week visualizing herself in the warm-up pen, feeling the tension, feeling that nervous energy all around her. But instead of freezing up, she imagined herself staying calm, confident, focused, no matter what. By the time the show rolled around, she was mentally prepared to handle the stress, and it made a huge difference in her performance. Visualization helps you ease into uncomfortable situations with confidence because your brain has already experienced it. Another of my clients, I love this one, told me how he visualized before his hunting trip. He was imagining the cold, the environment, and how he'd stay comfortable. He almost didn't go hunting because he hates being cold that much. But he mentally rehearsed the discomfort ahead of time. And by the time the trip came, he was mentally prepared. How powerful is that? So the first way is to practice something specific. The second way to use mental rehearsal is getting comfortable with the uncomfortable. And the third way is noticing and correcting bad habits. So during my mental rehearsal today, I noticed there was a little squiggle in my horse's steering. So this is, a subtle wiggle that I sometimes miss while riding. And even though all of this is only happening in my mind, I found that when I was visualizing and I'm steering my horse along in a circle, so we're going along in a circle, and then I would steer him straight across the circle, right? Just bisect the circle and go straight across. Well, right before we would rejoin the circle, in my mental rehearsal, there was a little squiggle, a little hesitation, a little, which way are we going? Are we going left, right? And some discomfort with, what if we make a mistake? And it came out as a little squiggle in my horse's body before turning. It turns out that my brain was so used to this that it showed up in my visualization too. Even though it was just happening in my mind, this squiggle was a sign of a habit that I needed to correct. This is where the magic of mental rehearsal happens. I can address that squiggle mentally first, shifting my neural pathways and improve my ride in real life. Mental rehearsal is in fact the perfect place to address the squiggle because it's my thought process that influences my behavior and my actions in the saddle. If I can't even imagine a smooth straight line before a turn, why would I think that I could ride it? It won't happen. FYI. I need to visualize or mentally rehearse this moment until I can smoothly perform it in my mind. Then I'll have the neural pathways and the muscle memory to ride it in that smooth, effortless, straight way when I'm in the saddle. It's pretty darn cool, right? It's wild how in our minds, these habits will still pop up. Mental rehearsal helps me catch those little things that might otherwise go unnoticed during your ride, right? Or there's so much else going on in your ride that you're busy addressing all these other things and missing what you're doing to help or hinder yourself. If I can't even imagine riding a smooth straight line before a turn, why would I expect to ride it smoothly? That is why visualization is so powerful. It allows you to rehearse the ride mentally until it feels natural, effortless, paving the way for a better experience when you're actually in the saddle. So you might be thinking like, those are some big claims. What is the science behind this? Why does visualization work? So I'll give you just the super quick overview. And that is that, did you know that your brain can't always tell the difference between something vividly imagined and something that actually happens? That's why visualization is such a powerful tool. When you mentally rehearse a skill or repeat a thought, your brain creates new neural pathways, just like it would if you were physically performing that skill. That means by visualizing, you're effectively training your brain to perform better when it counts. It is so cool. Studies have shown that athletes who regularly practice visualization improve their performance nearly as much as those who practice physically. Yeah, it's that powerful. This is all about priming your mind for success. So to recap, the 3 ways that I use visualization are practicing something specific, getting comfortable with the uncomfortable, and noticing and correcting bad habits. So I bet you didn't know that you could use visualization in all of those ways. I want you to send me a message and tell me, oh my gosh, I didn't know you could use visualization for that. So to recap, the 3 ways that I use visualization are to practice something specific, to get comfortable with the uncomfortable, and to notice and correct bad habits. Just send me a message and tell me what is your favorite way and how are you going to use mental rehearsal to improve your writing this week. And of course, this is just the beginning of what visualization can do for your writing. If you are ready to dive deeper and unlock the power of mental rehearsal for your writing, you need to come join me on October 23rd for the Mental Rehearsal for Writers Masterclass. All right, we're going to be covering advanced visualization techniques, how to prime your brain for competitive success, and practical steps to make mental rehearsal a part of your everyday routine. This is your chance to take control of your mental game and transform how you ride, mentally and physically. So grab your seat and get ready to level up your writing. I'll see you in class, cowboy. Happy trails.